Who's that coming down the track? Who's that coming down the track? It's a maple cheer, red and white. It's a maple cheer, red and white. Ain't nothing farther in the land. Ain't nothing farther from the land. And it's Bronco Nuts is from the band. And it's Bronco Nuts is from the band. Go, go!
What's up, y'all? This is John and Mike back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. As always, you can find us on Millions and as a part of the Fans First Sports Network. Tonight, we are talking to some of the guys from the Boundary Corner podcast to help us preview the Virginia Tech Hokies as part of our Puncher's Chance series. But before we get to that, how have y'all been?
Doing good. It's been a pretty busy weekend on this end. Been kind of hanging out with the family, doing a couple things here or there, kind of catching up on some yard work. As our crew has kind of been on vacation for like the past 2 to 3 weeks, so I've finally got around to catching up on some of those weekend chores that have been kind of waiting there for a while.
Yeah, I've been good. I've, like Brian said, been on vacation, did some kayaking today here in the greater Charlotte area, which is where I'm living now. So it's been fun trying to just enjoy the downtime before we get into here in a few weeks.
Definitely. I'm doing well. Just like you guys said, trying to get caught up on some loose ends before school starts up again. My day job is a middle school PE teacher, so I go back in 8 days for pre-planning, so kind of early to normal. So just trying to type the loose ends over here. What about you, John?
I'm one of the few times we record and I've eaten dinner beforehand, so I consider that a win versus drinking too much and eating dinner at 10 p.m. But I brag on myself a minute, and I think all you guys can appreciate this. I smoked a steak, made a baked potato, cooked bacon for the baked potato, seared the steak in the bacon grease, and then cooked some mushrooms also in the steak and bacon grease. So I think I gained about 5 pounds. Took 10 years off my life, but it was worth it.
Definitely. Not very good.
Sometimes you got to indulge a little bit. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to talk to you guys because, I don't know if you're familiar with our Puncher's Chance series at all, but we both picked 3 teams that we think have the potential to do better this following season. And first name on my list was Virginia Tech. The way they finished last year, all the talent coming in, they're finally recruiting back to the level that we grew up Virginia Tech recruiting at, getting some of those big names, getting the transfers. So this is probably one of the episodes that I'm most excited to talk to you guys about.
Yeah, we're excited. I think you have a good, like, of the 2 that are here, you got a good kind of, because you got somebody like myself that grew up and really for a long time didn't know anything but winning, and then Sheldon, who spent most of his time on campus watching more losing than winning, or at least a frustrating amount of losing, even if it wasn't necessarily more. So we've kind of seen a little bit of the highs and the lows for the program in the last 30 years. So
Yeah, it's definitely been an unfortunate downfall. I mean, like Brian said, I got to Virginia Tech as student 2017, and I had a year then, but since then, you look up, it was 8 years without bowling and 3 straight losing seasons, and they kind of just fell off the map. But I think, as we'll talk about, Brent Price kind of got the ball rolling again, and I think everything is set up for a pretty good season 2024. So let's get back to the pre-2024.
All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap of the 2023 season for the Hokies. Finished 7-6, and in Brent Pry's second year in Blacksburg, 29.5 points per game on offense, good for 57th in the country. They allowed 23.9 points per game on defense, which is good for 51st. They won the military bowl in Tulane, 41-20 to end the season. And we kind of talked about this a little bit before we got on here, but how awesome is Henderson in person? It's somebody that really I'll sit there and watch it pretty like cardio, like kind of like another time. But how great of a tradition is that, and how disappointed are you to not see that new game, new video game?
yeah, I mean it's incredible, and I think it's one of the few instances that is still good for the game, but a game like pushes up really like top level. It's disappointing that it's not going to be in the new game. I wasn't necessarily counting on it being in the new game. I know that, like everything else, that's a steep ticket, and that's even before talking about Metallica's history with the rights there. So really interesting. Metallica has played pretty nice with Virginia Tech historically as far as that is concerned. So I don't necessarily think they were trying to keep it out of the game, but I definitely think they wanted to get their money's worth to get in the game, and I think that was probably a hill too far for EA to come up with as far as the money is concerned, just for one team. If it was something that was used across the board, you might see a little bit more of a willingness to do so. But it's incredible. I mean, like I said, I've jumped to Sandman now for pushing 25 years, and it really doesn't get old for me.
Yeah, and I hear from opposing fans all the time, like they come to Lane Stadium, it's like the experience of a lifetime, and everyone wants to see it. So I was just doing work at VT, working with the communications office, so I wasn't able to experience that because I was working those games. But I'm I waited, like I can partake a little bit more. So it's great, especially when that chord progression hits and you get that second note and everyone's jumping. It's like nothing like it. I sort of subscribed to the Chris Fowler when he said that Clemson might have the grandest interest in college football, but BTS rocks, and it's nothing else will get your juices flowing more than they're intended.
And what's so great now is that the last probably 4 or 5 years when they kind of cut the music and let the crowd just kind of finish out that second chorus. There's nothing like that.
That's awesome. I definitely get up there. That's one of my bucket list venues to get to. So yeah, that's awesome.
So before we get to never mind. We read that. I already apologize. I'm not on my game tonight for whatever reason. One of the reasons we picked Virginia Tech for the series is returning production. According to Bill Connolly's returning production, Virginia Tech's first in overall returning production at 86%, 95% of the offense coming in first, and 77% of the defense. How big is that going into this season?
I'll let Sheldon take the lead on this because Sheldon's our data guy. And he really wants to talk about this.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, I know we're returning 21 starters, which I think was most or maybe tied for most in the country. So when you look at the factors that the ingredients for success, the biggest thing is what you did last year. Tech obviously 7-6 last year, but a little bit misleading with how well they ended the season, going 6-3, and really just dominating their opponents for the entire back half of the season. I remember researching the stat that they had, I believe it was 5 or 6 wins by or more in conference. Which if you look at the teams that did that, it was pretty much all top 25 teams. Like your big guns like Michigan and Alabama, and teams like that. So they ended the season strong, and when you do that and you combine returning production, it makes for a pretty good preseason formula. So Tech was the 32nd in the preseason SP Plus rankings as of the end of the spring season, according to Bill Connolly with ESPN. So, I mean, I think everything kind of sets up pretty well, and you got that continuity, especially in the secondary. I think that's where it's important because some of the research that Connolly's done has shown that it's super important to have continuity in secondary in all positions because, as you got no coverages, and Tech has that with their 2 cornerbacks in Dorian Strug and Monster Lane, which we'll, talk about pretty soon, I think. But just the level of experience they have, especially the most important positions, I think is such a key thing, and it's kind of the reason that people are so high on this year.
Yeah, I mean, returning to the amount of starters that you are is going to be big. And even on defense, where the production isn't quite as high, I feel like the pieces that we brought in to fill in some of the holes that we had last year probably makes that unit better, that we're not returning the same production that we are on offense. So, I think the thing is that it's going to be plug and play with a little bit of a step up and a little bit better fits on defense. And then on offense, can we take another incremental step and get better, especially with guys like Ali Jennings getting back into the fold this season?
I do want to make another apology. I forgot the Savannah area mosquito helicopter was flying around tonight. So if you hear the windows rattle, it's because there's a helicopter over the house. My bad.
Just trying to chop down those mosquitoes. Appreciate that. Yeah. What's Brent Price's approval rating in Blacksburg? Only was 30.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about Brent Price approval level, it's the highest it could possibly be for a team that hasn't technically won anything yet. If that makes sense. Like, we haven't won anything meaningful yet. We haven't played outside of a bowl game that was in a borderline monsoon against a team that didn't have a lot of its key players for opting out. That's the most meaningful game we played in terms of postseason at this point. So we haven't really played a meaningful game outside of what our record is. But I feel like we're as high as we can be without having those playing for ACC championship, being for any sort of berth playoff or anything like that. So everyone believes in Prime. I mean, the saying around here is he gets it TM. So like, I really don't think it could be better, especially with the uniforms rolling out this week. It's really been on the high as far as the fan base is concerned.
Yeah, I think yes, they're nice, and I think to Brian's point, it's sort of like Virginia Tech fans internally can kind of see where the team is headed. You look at record 7-6, like that's not sounds like, but the process behind that, going in the year, you return literally everyone. You've got this great coaching staff that got some pay raises, so you bring them back too. And just combined with all the momentum of the program and the way that Price kind of embraced the culture, I think that's the reason you guys kind of recognize that too. So obviously they've got a lot of people things for on the field, but we look at just the background conditions for what makes a team successful. I think they're kind of hitting all the check marks.
Yeah, I think the big thing at this point is now managing expectations, because I think we have expectations. You're talking about this, a lot of the national media is talking about how we handle that type of pressure. We've handled the pressure of getting our names back in those headlines. Now let's handle those expectations.
So former Baylor transfer quarterback Kyron Jones had a nice season last year for Virginia Tech and hopefully brings stability back to that position. 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. How big of a leap do you expect him to make in year 2 of the program?
Sean, I'll let you take the lead on this one here.
Yeah, so obviously he had a pretty good into last year, kind of signifying the team as a whole. I think he struggled early in the season just looking at kind of some of the film and making decisions as young quarterbacks often do. But as far as improving for next year, I was going to just make sure I had the numbers right. So I kind of looked at intermediate passing, that range. Jones actually the most efficient quarterback in the country in terms of intermediate passing. So passer rating, completion percentage, all that stuff. Like, he was great in that intermediate range. The only caveat to that was that Tech basically never did it. He had this lowest percentage of intermediate throws among all quarterbacks. And so replacing that was through the high line scrimmage, where you get easy balls out to your skill guys who can go make plays in space. That's kind of the way the staff did last year. And I'm sure they'll do more this year just because of the skill and speed that they have, the wide receiver and running back positions. But if you're looking for next year, I think the big thing for Kyron is being able to take their load, being able to make those first on the field, because that's the way you got to extend drives. And I think he's certainly capable of doing that. And that's the next step in his progression for me.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be looking at being a little better on deep ball accuracy. He was pretty good, but I think if he got that a little bit, that was huge as something about decision making. And I think most importantly, this showed going into the season last year, when he got confident, he played better. And he said the thing like this, he said, "You're not going forward, we're riding with you." And he felt that. That's the season coming after that. If that confidence continues to ratchet up, that's going to be big. And we're about to probably talk about it a little bit in alluding to Sheldon's point that intermediate passing game, back like Jennings, is probably another intermediate passing game a little bit more. But that's going to be some plays that we can go to with consistency in 2024.
So what are some other players on the offense that we didn't know about so that we can sound smart when we're at the bar tailgate before after the game?
I really, really, it's the rest of the skill group. Let's look at Bashal, too, our running back. I just mentioned Ali Jennings. He's a wide receiver that missed the majority of last year. He played ODU. He got hurt in the first drive against Purdue and was done for the year. So he's a transfer from ODU. Really good skill player. We've got the wide receiver, Jalen Lane. He's going to work in the slot some. He can play outside. Daquan Feld is really our big down the field threat. Really long, big, physical wide receiver that can run fast. And then look at the tight end skill set. You have Benji Snell that can block pretty well. Very effective in the passing game as well. So those guys can be the big players on offense.
Are there any transfers or incoming freshmen on offense that you think will be big impact players this year?
Yeah, so not a ton, just because of the return correction, but I would say one for offense would probably be the offensive lineman, Marcus Cunningham. So he's from State, projected to play right guard. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, Brian, but he's really kind of the one newcomer that's going to get some meaningful snaps this year.
Yeah, I would definitely put him on my list as well. He's coming in, as Sheldon said, looks like right guard. He does have some max to be a swing guy if somebody goes down the spot, but I look for him to plug in at right guard and hopefully elevate that offensive line a little bit from last season, which was probably the weakest unit that we were looking at in the prior year.
So you guys already answered that question about the strongest position groups in the Hokies one as well, so we'll kind of skip over to the next one. So how do you know about defense for the Hokies?
I'd say there's really three big ones. It's going to be Antoine Powell-Riley. He was double-digit sacks last year. Then you got Brian Strong and Lane, or those corners there on the outside. That's going to be who's going to make this defense go, and then everything else is going to kind of feed off of that. Because if we get after the passer, hopefully with those guys outside, we can run a whole lot more man, which lets us get after the passer better. That's going to create a lot of sacks, force a lot of errant throws, which could turn into turnovers. That's a little more.
Yeah, and Strong and Lane were two of maybe one of the best cornerback duos in the country last year, looking at some of the PFF grades. So you're good there. You bring in a couple of defensive tackles in Kevin Gilliam and these Eagles from Duke for Duke last season, and they got some linebacker spot with Sam Humphrey, who transferred from Middle Tennessee State. So yeah, I think Mike linebacker was probably the biggest need going into the offseason, and they got it done. So I feel pretty good about where the defense stacks up.
Yeah, getting Sam in is going to be big. Mike linebacker position. I feel like we have a bunch of guys that were better suited for Will playing Mike last year, kind of rotating in and out. Sam's a true Mike linebacker. He's a quarterback on the defense. He's a guy that can make sure everyone is where they are. And if we had any problem last year, it was explosive plays in the run game. And I feel like having a Mike linebacker in there that can get right where he needs to be and is efficient in the run game as far as great tackles and things like that. I feel like that's going to be a big boost. And like Sheldon said, we've got those defensive tackles coming in. Defensive tackle, we really lost our three rotational guys and arguably upgraded that position in the transfer portal, at least on paper. We'll see how that looks in terms of on the field production. But bringing in an all ACC caliber player like Peebles from Duke, you got Kamari Copeland, a JUCO transfer that is out there squatting ungodly amounts of weight. And during the spring game was absolutely a disruptive force. Coming over from Oklahoma, and we got to see a ton of time this year. We'll look at Curtis Perry transferring over from Alabama as well to make it some rotational play this year. So really, the defensive tackle room is as stacked as it could be, especially considering we lost three starters off last year's team.
So Virginia Tech has probably one of the most manageable schedules in the ACC. Going through it real quick, playing at Vandy, which if Virginia Tech travels as well as their fan base is spread out, and there's 5 or 6 people in Virginia Tech fans. That'll be a game. You got home against Marshall, at Old Dominion in a revenge game. Home against Rutgers, at Miami, at Stanford. Bye week before Boston College, Georgia Tech, both at home. At Syracuse, Clemson at home, another bye week, and at Duke and Virginia to finish the season. So the Box for Florida has a total for the season over/under at 8.5. What are we putting our money on? You tell us.
I'm going.
I'm
thinking I know the schedule's really easy. It's probably top 4 or 5 easy schedules in Power 5, similar to what it was last year. You're bringing a few new teams from the no longer existing Pac-12, and so I think they'll win. I think they'll win the games. It's going to be pretty tough, but I think the Niners are running in the way boys know obviously comes difficult, and Niners are difficult. You got to Stanford too, so that has those things. But outside of that, it's a really schedule. So I'll take it over in daily.
Yeah, I love. I think a lot of us, at least our crew, a lot of Virginia fans, are going to get that 80 game start things off because that was supposed to be a neutral site at Nissan, and they got moved to their stadium, and I believe they had to still hold that 50% allotment for the Hokies tickets. So that's going to be a very Virginia Tech favorable game there at Vanderbilt on their campus. Obviously, I know you guys were revenging at Old Dominion. We're going to get that much off our back because we haven't won there the last couple times we've been there. So it shouldn't be a game, but it would be nice to get that put to bed.
Is there a reason why you like Dominion so often?
Yeah, that'd be probably the case. I think Dominion and Liberty with any degree of frequency.
Yeah. It was a contract signed, I think, in the mid-2010s by the previous staff and administration. Just, it was type to, be other flavors and stuff, which for those who know is the Virginia area, and, have some visibility down there to get something out of it. But as our fans can probably tell you, we're not huge on it. So
if they're Super Bowl, we win that game. It's just a lose all around. So it'd be nice when we get to our schedule, especially Liberty also. I think would be good there. I feel like the biggest stretch of this season is going to be playing a physical team like Rutgers and then going back to back, traveling to Miami and Stanford. I feel like if we can at least win 2 of those 3, that's a good thing to come out of that 3-game stretch. Rutgers is not a great team, but they're very physical. They're behind you, and then you got Miami after that and a long travel to Stanford. Stanford obviously still probably one of the lower 3rd teams in Power 5, but the road trip factored in there. First time playing opponent, I think that's going to play some factor in that as well. But we can get that off week with maybe 1 loss. That'd be a pretty good way to kind of hit that back half of the schedule with some pretty big games on it.
What chance do you give Virginia Tech to make the 12
off? That's tough. I think we have as good a chance of in the ACC of any team not named Clemson or Miami. I think Florida State's in a year where they got some pieces that they're kind of filling in this year. I think Louisville has some pieces that they're not playing. They're probably going to be a pretty decent team as well, but they're filling some holes this year. We have a good roster where we're very much in a win now mode, and I think that if a few things fall the way that we want to, especially if we're unfavored somewhere around that 1 loss and you got Clemson coming to Blacksburg and you get a win against Clemson at that point in the season, I feel like that sets you up pretty good to make a good case for getting in there.
Yeah, I'm usually a realist, so I'm not going to try to hype it up too much. But maybe so I know people get ACC rep, but I think ACC is going to be pretty solid this year with the top 6. Because obviously Clemson, FSU, TD, and Miami as always, but SMU is coming in. They're going to be pretty solid. First year Power 5, we'll see how that goes. But I think it's going to be pretty good this year. So I know it's on the schedule, but it's a solid top 6 pretty good. So I think it's going to be a kickoff for sure.
Yeah, I think winning 4 of those top 6, I think is a nice way to our schedule. It's a little bit better than some of the others in the league this year. Is that we're playing Clemson, we're playing Miami, but we really avoid the rest of that top 3rd of the league. So it's a good schedule for us. It lines up pretty well if we can get through that kind of rough middle of the schedule there with that Miami and Stanford travel and having to play at Syracuse followed by Clemson at home. So I think they're big that year. I think Virginia is going to be Virginia. They're going to be a 4 to 6 win team this year. I don't think they're going to take a big step like they want to take, and that I think they're still kind of going to be stuck there in the middle of the road to the bottom 3rd of the league.
I should make sure that we're having to wait in for that Clemson game because that's one that I want to actually watch live and not get spoiled on the internet.
I'm hoping we have 1 or 2 losses going to that game. We can get game day on that one after. That'll be pretty amazing.
Yeah. Every defense has a game over Thunder. They haven't been 7 years. That's a long time. That's freshman year of college, so hope we can get them back.
Just for the record, I don't know if we said this, but Virginia Tech does have the sixth best odds in the ACC at plus 1200, so probably worth the little for a destination and stuff.
Yeah, drop a little bit out there. I mean, I think we got just as good a chance as, like I said, anyone not named, Clemson, maybe Miami or FSU. After that, kind of it all blends together there a little bit. So especially top and down and things like that.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
I'll say this: we wanted Cam Ward, and we ended up with Grant Wells.
Yeah.
So we really wanted Cam Ward, and we ended up with Grant Wells. I think we turned that around a year later and got Cam Brunson, but that was somebody that I think everyone kind of had circled when he was coming out of the JUCO ranks. He's a very talented quarterback. He can do a little bit of everything. I would put him, kind of right there with Kyron and a couple other guys in the ACC for most talented dual threat type players. So I like my guy Kyron over him, but he's a very talented quarterback.
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with the high school coach today. Was talking about him, and obviously he came from a really run-heavy offense in high school, so that's kind of the reason he's a little bit under-recruited. But he's still in high school in Texas, but he's developed tons of pass rush since he came up. He threw 47 touchdowns a couple years ago, 25 to 7 touchdown reception ratio this past year. So yeah, I mean, from everything, he's going to be kind of top 5 of the ACC quarterback with Jones and Warden. I think from Georgia Tech as well.
He still does have to play with no fans in Miami, so that's always tough.
Yeah, it's not bad to play at Miami.
Yeah, I think we were joking. We were showing the Virginia Tech game on football. We were like, oh, they got a full stadium in Miami. That's not something that we used to.
Right.
That's what coming up for like a glitch in the game. Like that's not something that's in the game.
But they're not gonna have to go down, so we know that.
Yeah, there's no QB kneel option for Miami's offense.
That would be great.
It blows my mind for Miami. I know Dogs played all that stuff. It's not close to anything. It's close to nothing.
No.
I looked at going to the F1 race the first year they had it in Miami. The closest hotel I could get was like 45 minutes away.
It's not college challenge. Never will be college challenge. They're always going to struggle to get folks in the seats. I mean, it's like the 8th best thing to do in the city, and that's if you have a night game against a top 20 opponent.
All right, you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
I'm going to say I'm excited about the season. I appreciate you guys having us on to really talk that through and verbalize that, and kind of put out there why Virginia Tech is stock that you probably want to buy a little bit this year.
Yeah. So I was looking up the stat I mentioned towards the top of the podcast. So it was our teams last season that won at least 5 conference games by 17 or more points. So 3 scores. So the list was Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Florida State, Georgia, you guys, Missouri, and Virginia Tech. So 7 ranked teams, and then Virginia Tech. That's kind of the reason that I think that some people might be sitting a little bit on the teams because of how good they ended the season and just the degree to which they dominated competition. I know not a great schedule, obviously, so take that into context. But I mean, you win 5 games this season, that's for something. So I just think that's kind of the reason that program. Again, maybe not everything else this season, but certainly means in hoping for more continuation of that next year.
Yeah, and piggybacking off that, I mean, the schedule isn't any harder this year than it was last year, and we get a confident Kyron Drones at quarterback from Jump Street from game 1. Whereas he was driving game 2, he was on the road game 3 and 4. He didn't really get his feet under him until that home game against at the end of September. We're getting that in Fayetteville in August this year, so I think that gives fans a lot more optimism that we won't kind of limp into September with 1 and 3 like we did last year. And I think that's where the hope lies is that if we're 2 games better than we were last year, we're looking at a 9 or 10 win season. That's probably exceeding the expectations that most folks have for us.
One last question. You guys, ACC, they're not doing divisions again this year, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they redid the locked-in opponents this year compared to last year, but they didn't go back to the old divisions anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, they got rid of that. I think it was more so just to kind of make it so the 2 best teams in the conference were playing each other in the conference title game. And certainly it makes it a little bit harder for fans of teams like Virginia Tech because you got to be the best 2 out of 17, whereas before it's like just win the Coastal's not exactly murder row. Right. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting race.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us. I learned a lot. I know Mike learned a lot. I think our listeners are going to learn a lot as well. Do you have anything you'd like to plug before you get out of here?
Just if you're interested in following us, we're at Boundary Corner on X, at Boundary Corner BT on Instagram. Go give us a follow. If you like the YouTube videos, if that's your bag, go and subscribe. We're youtube.com/@boundarycornerbt. That's probably the best place to watch us. We're a very video-centric podcast. We will do take breakdowns. We'll get myself and Sheldon up there on the sticks there a little bit and run things through. We'll do some other visual things that are really enhanced by having the video version of the podcast. So check us out those places. We'd love to have some other folks from other fan bases join in, maybe a little witty banner. We watch those live. So if folks want to come in, tell us a little bit about their program, we'll work that in real time.
Awesome, love it. Thank you guys again for coming on and talking to us. We got to finish things up. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
All right, I paused the stream. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Hang out with us really nice.
Glad to do it, man. Appreciate having us. It's been a lot of fun. Like I said, it's always good to interact with fan bases, whether it's ACC guys or folks in the SEC or other conferences. Just to talk a little bit about us and hopefully learn a little bit about you guys in the process too. So
yeah, we try to do it. We try and talk to somebody from the team that Georgia plays every week during the season. Doesn't always work. For whatever reason, Georgia Tech, nobody wants to talk to us. Can't find anybody that we can respond to email, social media messages, but kind of is with them.
It's really
hard. Let me look something for you real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. On a personal note, I was able to visit Athens for the first time ever back in May.
Mm-hmm.
I work for UNC Charlotte, and our softball team played the regionals in Athens.
Yeah.
You guys have a great softball team, so that was fun. I was able to every time I go to a new city, I want to always go for a run, try to see the local football stadium. I was able to get inside the stadium and run down to the field a little bit, and get some few picks there. So it was good to kind of get the Georgia State off the bucket list, so to speak.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you guys ever hit up the rec talk?
No,
try and get with them.
I will write that down. Because I've got a number of friends at Georgia Tech, and I'm like, hey, do you guys read anybody's stuff or listen to anybody's podcast at Georgia Tech? And they're like, no, I just kind of go into every game expecting to lose.
Which is fair, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I can send you their Twitter here real quick. Hang on.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. What part of Charlotte do you live in?
So I'm near the university, which is about 30 minutes north of the actual city, so kind of a little bit closer to Concord.
My wife's from Gastonia.
Yeah, it's a good spot. I mean, it's a super growing city and lots of Hokie alumni down here too. So that's kind of why I wanted to come down here.
We not this year, last year, but I mean, John and I both live in Savannah, but my family and I love like theme parks and stuff like that. We bought a season pass to Carowinds and went up there several times. Like it's a 4 hour drive, but it is well worth it for us. Way out of place.
I gotta get there sometime.
Dude, it's best. I mean, outside of Cedar Point, who owns them as well. It's like my favorite theme park.
Yeah, we got Sheldon grew up around where I live now, so we got Kings Dominion just up the road, and then we got Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, about 45 minutes from us. So it's like having like some cool spots around here. She just went to on vacation down in Gatlinburg, got the Dollywood Balls down there, so kind of making the Mid Atlantic runs here. Yeah, I love Dollywood. It's probably my favorite in the North Carolina area. Yeah, those are some guys that we talked to before, so I don't know if you'll have some better luck with them than you've had with some other guys you talked to so far.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
we're odd when it comes to Georgia fans because we don't hate Tech. For years on the show, dozens of times. If Tech is going to stay on the schedule, we want them to be better. Like, be good. Be a game worth watching. That's my only request. Give me a reason,
Yeah.
because I have season tickets. So give me a reason to drive 4.5 hours to Athens.
There you go.
I mean, I appreciate that they're doing it on Black Friday this year because like I grew up in Michigan. I grew up a Michigan fan, so like very rarely because like that game's always at noon. Like Georgia Tech is usually at noon as well. So like I'm usually that's like
Moved their official streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wasn't it like 36 years for Virginia Tech?